Hello YouTube, and welcome back to Napoleon Total War. This is my third online battle that I'm going to be showing you. I'm playing as the Ottoman Empire. My ally is playing as Portugal. Our opponents are a Prussian army and a British army, Great Britain. I'm going to go through the armies first here, and I'm not going to show you the actual kind of this side of the battle, because the majority of the kind of interesting action is going to be over on my side, but basically, well, you'll see later, but I'm going to go through the armies of the Portuguese player anyway, and basically just explain why it makes the game so boring to watch. He's got 12 units of infantry, 2 tiradors, these are the tirador, I don't know how to pronounce that in original Spanish, some Spanish or Hispanic person can go tell me. And then 4 units of cazadores, one of which has 1 experience chevron, I guess he just had money left over. And then just a general staff. And because he's using he's no cavalry, okay? There's not even a unit in hiding. If it was, he's my ally, I wouldn't notice. So basically there's hardly any manoeuvre, and he's just going to sit up in the defensive positions. There's no point really watching it. Why is it showing that blue thing? I guess they press spacebar, and because it's paused, it's like that anyway. Anyway, the Prussian army consists of 1 unit of hussars, and he has 5 units of musketeers at the front. Was it 5? Yeah, 5 units of musketeers at the front, 2 Jaegers, 2 foot guards, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more units of musketeers, and his general staff. So he's gone for a big infantry block again. There's a lot less of these guys. So basically, I mean, his best tactic in this game would actually just be charge all his units run in for melee, which would be dumb. But he's not going to do that. Actually, I'm going to end up fighting most people. Spoiler alert. The British army here consists of 3 light foot units over here. He also has 2 units of the rifles with 2 chevrons, kind of hidden at the moment, so they're not moving. Life guards and a dragoon guards. He's using the Duke of Wellington, 1 chevron. He's got a foot guards with 2 chevrons, and the Black Watch with 2 chevrons. These are extremely worrying units. Those chevrons increase the accuracy slightly, melee attack or melee defense, can't remember which one, maybe even both, and their morale. So these guys are going to be a right pain in the arse to fight, and a massive pain to kill, particularly the Black Watch in melee combat would just be ridiculous. And then he has 3 units of foot, I believe, 2 units of foot, and 3 units of Highland foot. So that's quite a good army there, but very small, doesn't really have very much cav considering this is large funds. I'm playing as the Ottoman Empire, as I said. I've got 1 unit of Nizam-i-Sedi rifles with 1 chevron, 3 units of Nizam-i-Sedi light infantry, 8 units of Nizam-i-Sedi infantry, 1 Semar Janissary, 1 Bashi Bazouk. These are quite a kind of just randomness with swords, really. I quite like having them around though, because they're like cheap versions of Semar Janissaries. They're half the price of Semar Janissaries, and they still do tons of damage, and they're a pain in the ass to hit, because they don't, as you can see, they work in a kind of a regular formation. They've got 1 chevron. Got 2 Sipahi cavalry, one of which has 1 chevron. I guess they just had a little bit of cash left over, and look at these guys, they're like proper medieval guys. They actually are feudal knights. They are literally landowning feudal knights, so these guys are pretty cool. Evil slave owners. Cool evil slave owners. Whatever. And then 3 Chaternal camel gunners. These are like desert warrior peoples. They can go for ages. I used some of these in my first game online, where the guy had like 5 of these, and they did pretty poorly in that battle. You'll see them do really great in this one. But anyway, I'm going to skip ahead for quite a while here, because you're going to see everything change pretty drastically as far as how the battle's laid out, and you're going to see me take on quite a lot of enemies as well. So, see you in a second. Alright, so I'm starting to get into position now, and there's been a little bit of skirmishing over here, but as you can see, the Portuguese players just playing very defensively, because this sort of army is very defensive. In a map like this where there's so many hills, that's why this is going to be very, very boring. the British and Prussian player decided to gang up at the start and try to kind of team up and take out the Portuguese player, which wasn't a very sensible move given that he has such a defensively capable army. But over here you can see I'm trying to form up my guys because these Prussian musketeer units were getting very close. And you can see one thing to notice about them, they are in fire and advance mode. You can tell that because they're quite thickly blobbed, and they're also a bit further spread out. This is actually, I believe this is how units fought skirmishes in the Napoleonic Wars, kind of like this. Kind of a bigger block at the back, and then a few men would run up and fire, and then retreat, and then the next group would fire and retreat. So you actually have reduced range with this, and personally I'm not a fan of it, especially when faced with what is going to be a lot of firepower. All it's going to mean is that rather than being an extended line, which is what he should be doing, he should be extending his line, these 4 units, and covering this whole area instead of covering a tiny amount of area. So as he's charging into my units, he's going to do quite a lot of damage once he gets there, but if anything gets there. I run my Sipahi cavalry up because I don't want him to charge in, but he's going to just carry on walking forwards. He then charges his hussars straight through, and he's going straight for my wings and sending light infantry. So I charge my slightly unveteraned Sipahis in to try and deal damage to those and fend them off, because I really want these light infantry, because Britain has all his light infantry over that sort of direction, and so does Prussia. So if I can just face line infantry and cavalry, I can really easily beat that with the amount of infantry I have. Britain's moved his cavalry up, his life guards and dragoon guards, and to counter this I'm going to be using my Chateauneuf camel gunners. You can defend a lot better than these last saw those fend. You can see the amount of damage that's happened to these guys as they're advancing up. They really should have just been in a thin line formation, and maybe even just retreated round into a better defensive position. I'd place my Bashi bazooks and my Samart janissaries over here behind this low rise, because if he tried to get a flank attack or use this hill, he couldn't shoot my guys, and it meant I could just run around and charge, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. As he's sending these foot and the Black Watch up to take this hill. They've got both their generals over here, so they want to try and... it looks like they want to try and deal with me quickly. He's trying to get his cavalry round, but I'm just using my Chateauneuf camel gunners to shoot him. See, I've already done a ton of damage to his life guards, and really ruined his morale as well, just because it's so far away, it's taking casualties, so far away from other units, I mean, of his. And you can see him just doing some basic, keeping my general around him, my units, forming basic kind of lines, keeping your lines extended. If it was in a less kind of, over here, just charge everything in. I saw his units were out of place, so I charged in my Samart janissaries, my Sipahis and my Bashi bazooks. Oddly enough, my janissaries are going to get the do worse than the Bashi bazooks, even though they shouldn't. As you can see here, I've formed up into these lines so I can shoot these life guards and dragoon guards, and he's going to do a stupid thing here. He's going to charge all of his units into one unit. He could have just charged the life guards into one, the dragoon guards into the other. Both would have won. His camel was really pouring the and just everything really. The only there, just because I like to have missile cavalry. He pops the rally at this point, which kind of would be useful, but he doesn't do anything with it. He doesn't make a charge, he doesn't... Right. Pop a rally when you want to use it for something. So, okay, so something's going badly, you pop a rally to try and change the way the game's going to be. Or something's going well, you pop a rally to speed it up so that reinforcements don't arrive. Over here you can see I'm trying to form up my... this one's badly placed, but I'm going to form up both of my Chateauneuf camel gunners into a position where they can shoot the dragoon guards and life guards. Sadly, these guys aren't going to get in a position quick enough, but this unit is going to get a couple of volleys off, and it's going to end up beating these cavalry off, who are, a good 250, 300 more worth than the Chateauneuf camel gunners, so it's a good use of money. And over here, the problem is he's bunched up. He's not extended his lines. He's sent in units piecemeal. They've been in the wrong formation. And I laid a good trap over here as well for his reinforcements that we're going to try and flank around. And I just had superior firepower in place, where he would send in a couple of units. So this fire in advance really isn't good. Don't use fire in advance. It might look clever, but it's not. Okay? You're much better off just firing. And I mean, you can see this unit's down to 88 men, down to 82, but the thing is I have a lot more men around the area because he's attacked piecemeal. You can see this is a very boring fight over here. It's just a defensive fight. He's just charged straight in. There's nothing he can do. He's just bottlenecked. Should have tried to flank round. Well, they should have sent more forces at once to try and fight me. Over here, the enemy cavalry have actually gained chevrons because they've been doing so well. But the thing is there's only 7 of the lifeguards left and 4 of the dragoon guards, so we're not going to win this. And I'm going to keep 2 of my camel gunners, which is very impressive, especially because one's not even hit at all. The Black Watch are proving a massive pain on the hill, just like I said they would. My Samat Janissaries is just... my Bashar Bazooks is just routed from this battle, and the Samat Janissaries are about to. They had formed into a square formation as well, which makes charging them a pain in the ass. And like I said here, his reinforcements have arrived, but they're no use because he doesn't have anything else. So I'm just going to do classic disrupting the formations with Chateauneuf camel gunners. They're basically a throwaway unit now at 10 men. And he's either got 2 options: turn into a square and take increased damage from infantry, or don't and hope that you can rout the Chateauneuf camel gunners without turning into a square. He decides not to. I don't know if this was a good idea or not, to be honest. I would probably have formed into the square or stop and shot. Probably the best move. Stop and shoot. Stupid shot. What was that? That's not real words. And you can see here I'm forming a double rank. My Chateauneuf camel gunners behind because they can fire over the heads of their non-camel riding equivalents. Sorry, just excuse me a second, I need to cough. I really should bring a drink of water or something before I do this. But anyway, the Nizami City are just going to tear up these units. They're too thick and blocky and they're getting mixed up with each other. Over here, the 42nd Black Watch are going to pose a serious threat to me because they're going to start shooting into the backs of my skirmishers. And the foot guards and the musketeers have actually managed to break through, but I mostly just left them, Nizami City to take them on. I was hoping that somehow I'd be able to take them on, didn't with the fact that their morale is going to be worse, but and the fact that I just still have so many more units in the area. All their units have been taken up trying to take out this massive blob of enemies in a head-on fight, whilst trying to take me on piecemeal attacks. If they tried to attack me head-on with all of their units, they'd have absolutely crushed me. Over here, he finally sends his musketeer units to charge into my Nizami City, but I just rear charge. I just carry on volley firing from the front and take a rear charge with my camel gunners. And his units have gotten really close to the fire in advance. This is the thing with the fire in advance, they get really close. And Nizami City infantry, as with all Ottoman units, are better than others in close combat, so I'm just going to charge in now. Just to wreck up his units. He might actually be outnumbering me in a couple of the fights. No, he's not actually. So despite the fact that my unit's been fighting for a lot longer, he's not actually going to be winning at all. And you can see him just carrying on overlapping him, because they attacked piecemeal. I always have the numbers advantage, so I can always outflank them and overlap and do all these crazy moves without having to worry about my line getting too thin to fight them off if they charge or anything, if they just have really good firepower, which is Prussians and British do. They really do kick ass with the firepower. Far better than my Nizami City. Are they far better? I can't remember actually. Nizami City are pretty damn tough. People don't realise just how tough they are. A lot of people don't seem to take them. They take very strange armies with these, but I just take a kind of European style army. The only problem I have now is fighting these 42nd Foot, the Black Watch, and this rifles unit, but I'm just going to charge them with the camel gunners. It's a nice and simple way of taking out any sort of skirmishing unit. Charge them with a cavalry unit. You'll always win, unless they've deployed stakes. Which ones usually around when they're unsupported like that, and you can see the rifles. You're going to get away with like 5 men, but I just leave the camel gunners to take them down. And here, because he's on the hill, he's going to take surprisingly few casualties, but eventually he's just going to be overwhelmed by the weight of fire here. I still have a very good number of units left, and Prussia and Britain have just totally lost. Like I said, Prussia just attacked. Prussia and Britain both attacked just in frontal assaults here. He had a defensive position here, and he just kind of attacked this way. He didn't flank round and attack in sort of a way where he wouldn't be able to use all his firepower. Over here, the same happened. He could have just ignored this hill because Portugal was not going to be advancing rapidly. You know, the entire foot unit army. When you're facing an entire foot unit army, do everything you can to just avoid it. Okay?
Break off!
Take out its ally. Or, you know, if you're not going to be able to take out its ally, if you're in, say, a 1v1, use the terrain to your advantage. Remember that you're a lot speedier. You can choose where you want to fight this battle. Okay? Because their army is unwieldy as hell. 12 units of Portuguese infantry lined up in a line cannot be easily just turned. And that's pretty much the end of the battle here. I'll end this and skip ahead to the results screen. Alright, so that's the results screen there. You can see I deployed 1,749. My ally deployed 1,938, and you can see he didn't take very many losses, and he didn't get very many kills, because I did most of the work in this battle. Thank you very much. I deployed 1,749. My losses were 1,066, which is a fairly large amount, but given that I took most of the fire from British and British and Prussian units, killing 1,591 is a pretty impressive tally. I mean, it's basically more than the Prussians lost, given they were the second largest army in this, so that's pretty good. We'll go through unit statistics as well. As you can see, it's mostly all of these units were the units that were outflanking and in the front. And it's basically a few of them didn't get as many kills as light infantry because they were assaulted so early on by hussars or other units. I only lost one from my general's unit. Must have caught a stray bullet. I feel sorry for that general's bodyguard. All of his mates looking down on him like, I guess you would be the one to die then. But you can see one of my Nizam-e-Sadiq infantry got an extremely large amount of kills here. So, good game to my opponents. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. I'll be bringing you some better battles a lot soon. Some really, really good play with me and a friend soon. So, watch out for the next battle. See ya.